We, of course, announced yesterday on the show the breaking news that Joe Burrow had signed a 5-year, $275 million extension with the Cincinnati Bengals. He gets $219 million plus guaranteed, but obviously not the whole shebang guaranteed. And Rob G, there was some aftermath today. Tell us about it.
That's right. What everybody expected, and this has been going on now for a while, long before Joe Burrow actually put pen to paper on that new contract, that he was going to take a team-friendly deal, as the Mike Brown said, that the head of the Bengals, and as well as Jamar Chase, that he was going to take a little less so that they could keep Jamar Chase and the rest of that talented Bengals roster together. Well, not so fast, my friend. According to the Cincinnati Enquirer, unless something shocking happens in the next 24 hours, the team is not going to get a contract extension done with wide receiver Tee Higgins. The two sides reportedly not close, never got close, and according to the Enquirer, the former second-round pick out of Clemson is not believed to be in the Bengals' future plans at all. Rob Parker, your thoughts?
Not shocking whatsoever. This is what I've been talking about forever, and this drives me crazy, Chris. It just does. Fans, NFL fans, for whatever, have been brainwashed into this whole idea that less money for players means that other players get to stick around and teams are going to spend the money. And, Joe Burrow didn't clean out the coffers with the Bengals. That means Tee Higgins and everybody Jamar Chase is going to all get paid and all get to stick around. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And I don't understand why in football this is the thing where people call up and they back billionaire owners against the players. NFL players have a short shelf life. They got to make – the average career is 3.5 years. So they have to make – we get it. A handful of guys, Chris, play a long time, and they get money. But most guys don't. So they need to maximize their earning potential. And this whole idea that the fans frown upon guys, they're greedy. How much is enough? How much is enough for the owners? It costs a freaking $100 to park for a Rams game. Go buy something from a concession stand. Why are the fans brainwashed into this? Why do they accept that? A $9 Coke, a $100 parking spot, but they have an issue with players getting their worth. They wouldn't stand up for their corporate bosses, Chris. Oh, yeah, Fox Sports Radio. Oh, yeah, Premiere. Give me the lousy health care. That's okay. And I don't want to take all the money. I'll just take are you kidding? They'll look at the corporate profits and what the executives are making and have a stink about it. But when it comes to NFL owners, it doesn't seem to bother them. And guess what? All the NFL does is brag about how much money it prints. Look how much money Amazon is giving us. We don't care. Let's go to YouTube TV. Whether or not fans can see it, we don't care if you can see the games or not. They're paying us top dollar for the product. That's all we care about. Most people can't watch Thursday night if you're not a Prime member. Everybody doesn't get to see it. You think the NFL cares? No, because they get more money. So I don't understand it. It drives me. Why? Why do fans side with billionaire owners when it doesn't? It doesn't. No other sport has it. The other sports, basketball does just fine, Chris, the NBA, with no cap. Baseball, just fine, with no cap. Hockey, fine, with no cap. But for whatever reason, people accept this. And you know what they say? Well, NFL, guys get hurt. That's fine. Sign a shorter deal. You don't have to sign no phony 8-year. Chris, how many times we see the phony contracts? He signed a 9-year, $255 million. Go ask Herman Moore from the Detroit Lions and some of these other guys who never got the back end of their contracts.
Rob, How much money you think Roger Goodell? What do you think his salary?
He
is?
makes $44 million.
No, he doesn't.
How much is it now?
He made $44 million. Try $64 million.
Chris.
Hold now. Look, I get it's a challenging job, and I'm not going to say Roger Goodell should make more than some of the players. He should get a nice, healthy salary, right? $64 million? $64 million compared. There's not a player making that. He should not be paid more than all of the players. So that speaks to what you're saying. But I think I have a bit of an answer for your question, Rob. I don't know if it.
No, I'm curious.
It all,
because I think NFL fans are brainwashed.
Well, I don't even think it's just NFL. I think because I've always wondered this with the lockouts or strikes in sports. I covered a few NBA lockouts, and it feels like, Rob, when there's a lockout, generally the fans, they take out their anger on the players. How much do these guys need? They're getting paid $10 million a year. It does seem like they're against the players rather than the billionaire owners. And I think, Rob, that's because the players are in their face. They see the players. They recognize the players. They know what the players make, right? I think, that's just my opinion, that is why it is. And if you think about the scenario you presented, I might argue, that the one situation that fans might side with a player over an owner is in Jerry Jones in Dallas. And, they'll say, well, Jerry Jones got the money, pay the man, played it, this and that. Why? Because Jerry Jones is always out there. Jerry Jones is as in your face as a player. We hear from Jerry Jones on the radio every week. We see him on the TV at every game. He's talking after every game. He's out there. So people know, they feel like they know him. And there's more of a familiarity with him versus the anonymous, faceless, largely nameless, even though we know their general names, owners that are billionaires that they aren't even on people's radar for the most part. And I think that is the explanation that I've come up with, Rob, whether it's right or not. I've talked to some other people who felt the same way, but I think that might be a factor. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an NFL cap expert. They do have a salary cap. I get that, even if it's soft, there's, it's there. It's not baseball where there's absolutely no cap. You can pay a guy whatever you want. But, Rob, a lot of what you hear is that, number one, the one reason that you've even heard players say they don't necessarily want the fully guaranteed contracts because not having the fully guaranteed contracts allows those contracts to be manipulated. Like you can extend them and push the money down the road and get it off the cap and things like that, which allows other players to get paid. Well, and that's what we've had, like the Andrew Brands and the Randy Muellers who've been in the front offices, Rob. That's what they say is like, look, they can pay the players whatever they want because they can always move money around. And I think that's what I'm taking their words for it as guys that have worked in front offices.
Well,
and I think that's what fans don't understand. They just see the cap and they say that, but it appears I think you can move some of this stuff around, especially if it's not guaranteed. That's one of the reasons they've said players have stood by it to some degree.
Yeah, but Andrew Brandt, who has no reason to, he worked in the front office. He knows what can be done. He knows how this thing works, and it's just not true. They can do basically. No,
I just explained what he said to us.
Whatever they want to do, right? They could do it.
I mean, there is a cap, but it's just. You can maneuver around it.
That's what I'm saying, right? You can do it if you want to. And the other thing, too, I'm so tired of people in Cincinnati thought that, okay, we'll keep our team together, and already there's a story about Tee Higgins not being able to. He's not going to be a part of the plans next year already, and he's going to be his last year. And we brought up the Boston Globe story over and over about New England that saved money. Oh, Tom Brady took less. Oh, it's great. Tom Brady helped so that they could sign other players and build up their rosters. And then the Boston Globe goes out and does a special report and says New England spent below the average in the league in 7 of Tom Brady's last 10 years, including Super Bowl years, Chris, 14, 16, 17, and 18. So the savings he gave up never actually made it to other players. So that's the other part. It would be one thing if you showed me, oh, you saved this money, and now because Joe Burrow didn't take Chris 300 instead, he took 275. Now Tee Higgins is getting a deal, but he's not.
Absolutely, I agree. Like I'm not. If a player wants to take less, a la Patrick Mahomes, a la Tom Brady, a few others we've seen, so that they can keep other players, I'm all good with that.
And here's one more. In this past offseason, we saw the Saints, Chris, they start out $60 million over the cap. They restructured a bunch of guys.
There you go.
To get to $30 million plus $30 million under the cap, right?
That's $90 million they moved
turnaround, right? In order to sign Derek Carr. So if you can move $90 million in 1 year, you can do whatever. Why, fans? I want to know, NFL fans, why do you side with billionaire owners? I don't get it. And why aren't you allowing these players to get some money? And it's not the end of the world. 877-99 on Fox.